So, welcome now to day 3 of our 100 marks in 10 days challenge. And this question is all about shapes of molecules and also about intermolecular forces. So, when we've got this diagram of an organic molecule, obviously in displayed formula, we don't really show these angles as they actually are. So, it does say very clearly in the question that we need to be using electron pair repulsion theory. So we're just counting how many regions of electrons, first of all, and then whether there are bonds or lone pairs, that's going to affect the angle. So if we look at angle A, that carbon has got 4 bonds and no lone pairs. So straight away, we know that's going to be a tetrahedral shape. In fact, very useful to note that carbon very rarely has any lone pairs at all. It is just going to be sharing its 4 electrons every single time. So that means it's going to be tetrahedral, and this is the only angle you really have to learn. All the other angles can either be got from 360 or they can be got from working it out with the lone pairs. So B, let's have a look there. We've got a double bond with the oxygen, which means that this carbon has got 3 bonds and also no lone pairs. So rather than being a 3-dimensional tetrahedral shape, we're going to have a flat shape because the furthest apart that those electrons can get, if there are 3 areas, is 120 degrees. And then C is our final angle. So we've got an OH bond. It does not really matter like what the oxygen is bonded to. It's always going to form 2 bonds, but because it's in group 6, once we've shared 2 of those electrons, one with the hydrogen and one with the carbon, there are still going to be 2 pairs of electrons left, and you can see there are 6 dots around that oxygen. So 2 bonds, 2 lone pairs, that's 4 areas in total. And that means we're going to base it off of 109.5. But then each lone pair, because it's extra repulsive effect compared to the bonds, is going to reduce that angle by 2.5 degrees. So we're going to take 109.5 and then we're going to take away 2 lots of 2.5 degrees. So we take away 5 and we get 104.5. Now that's never going to be 100% exact. So if you just said 104, you would have been fine. If you said 105, generally it's okay. But all you've got to do is remember your 109.5. Carbon, if it's a normal 4-bonded carbon, will be 109.5. If you see nitrogen, normal nitrogen with 3 bonds, 1 lone pair, it's going to be 107. If you see oxygen with 2 bonds, 2 lone pairs, it's going to be 104.5. So it gets actually quite easy to predict many of the common bond angles we're going to see. Okay, then we said explain why the CO bond is polar, but the CH bond is not. So anything about a bond being polar rather than a molecule. Okay, so we're talking about the bond itself. We're talking about why there's a delta minus, delta plus across that bond, but there isn't across the CH. And that is just because there is a difference or a significant difference in if you like, in electronegativity. We need to put that word in there. That is a key word when explaining why bonds are polar between C and O. Now there is a tiny difference, but there's only a very small, or you could say a nice word that means very small is negligible, if you can spell it, difference between C and H. So C and H, the difference between their electronegativity is only like less than 0.5 on the scale. Between C and O, it's more like 2, so it's much, much bigger. So difference in electronegativity, don't just say oxygen is electronegative because you're not then looking at the fact that every bond involves 2 atoms. Okay, I think I might need to make my pen a bit thinner for the next question if I'm going to fit in a 6 marker. So boiling points of 3 organic compounds are given below. Explain the difference in boiling points between the 3 compounds and refer to the different intermolecular forces present. Okay, so let's break down this table. You've got the name and the formula, which is relatively generous. Sometimes you'll only have the name, sometimes you'll only have the formula. In this question, I really wanted to just test your intermolecular forces, not layer on the sort of organic knowledge as well. So the thing that we need to know definitely is we need to know the three different types of intermolecular forces. So that's going to be hydrogen bonds, permanent dipole. Actually, I'm going to write PD, but don't write PD when you're doing a 6 marker and you've got lots of space. At some point, you need to put the word permanent dipole in. And then I'm going to call the next lot ID. Now, this is the one that has three different names. So I'm just going to write them down bottom as a sort of, actually, I'm going to write them at the top as a summary. So you've got ID stands for instantaneous induced dipoles. That's like the shortest way, or sometimes instantaneous dipole induced dipole attraction. In this question, we're not going to explain how they arise, but you do need to know how they arise in terms of random movement of electrons. The other name for them, NXL and OCR tend to call them London forces by default, whereas AQA tends to call them van der Waals, and I never know where the capitals go in that. Forces. All the same thing. Okay, so from now on in this question, I'm going to call them ID. So let's have a look. Differences in boiling point between the three compounds. It's a hierarchical system. So what do I mean by that? I've put them in order where hydrogen bonds are the strongest. But also the reason we've put them in that order is because everything has instantaneous induced dipoles. They are the default setting for intermolecular forces. So everything has those. If we have a polar bond, like C double bond O, then we will have permanent dipoles unless that is cancelled out. Now, in organic molecules, something like a C double bond O is very rarely cancelled out by symmetry. It could only be cancelled out if you had another C double bond O on the other side. So for organic molecules, we don't normally have to worry about the shape to see if something is polar. So you can basically go with organic molecules that alkanes and alkenes, so hydrocarbons, only have ID. And then if we've got any kind of other atom, so oxygen, nitrogen, bromine, chlorine, fluorine, it will have a permanent dipole. And then to have hydrogen bonds with our organic molecules, we're looking for an OH or an NH. Now, HF also has hydrogen bonds, but you're not going to find that anywhere except hydrogen fluoride because that is literally its formula. Okay, so I'm going to go through and just list, if we look at this, we can see that both, I'm going to start from the top, start from the strongest forces. So both propanol and ethanoic acid have hydrogen bonding. I'm just going to write H bond. And as soon as you mention hydrogen bonds, just throw this in here, which is the strongest intermolecular force. So why do I recommend this? I recommend this because if you go a bit wrong later in the question, or if you miss something out, so for example, you miss one of the other forces that something else has, you've already laid it on the table that hydrogen bonding is the strongest, so you've got that mark. We can then say by comparison, and we can say that they all have, so all three have permanent dipoles and ID. So I am taking shortcuts here for the sake of the length of this video and for the sake of like running out of space, that they all three have permanent dipole attractions and let's call them London forces for now, or instantaneous induced dipoles. So they all three have that. I don't have to therefore list them 3 times. That would take me ages. Okay. What else do I maybe need to mention? I've got to talk about energy somewhere because this is about boiling points. And it says explain the differences in boiling points between the 3 compounds. Also in the table, I've been given the MR values. So what I want us to notice is that they are all basically either the same or similar. So they're basically the same. Okay, a difference in 2 out of 60 is nothing. Why is MR important? So MR is important because of this force, the instantaneous induced dipoles. We know that as you get a bigger molecule, which we saw on day 1, these types of forces are stronger. So I think it's significant that we need to mention that they all have similar MR and therefore similar strength, because sometimes you might be comparing one molecule that's a lot smaller and therefore has less electrons. It's not about the mass, it's just about the fact that it has less electrons with a smaller MR. So of ID. Now that I've put that in, and the strength of permanent dipole is never really relevant. Okay, so you just either have it or you don't, and they all have it, so it won't make a difference. So therefore we can say that propanal has the lowest boiling point because it doesn't have hydrogen bonding. And since we've already said that hydrogen bonding is the strongest, I don't need to repeat myself. I will talk about energy. So therefore the least, energy to overcome. Remember, we would rather use the word overcome than break if we're talking about intermolecular forces, not bonds. The forces. Okay, now we have to explain propan-1-ol and ethanoic acid. So they actually have exactly the same MR, so they'll have the same London forces, but ethanoic acid does have a higher boiling point than propan-1-ol. So if you've gone through this system and you have identified which ones have got different intermolecular forces, now we're looking at two molecules which have the same intermolecular forces and the same MR, so they have the same type of intermolecular force. So the only explanation is that ethanoic acid must form more hydrogen bonds per molecule. So this would be the thing. I'll put the per molecule bit might not be completely necessary. This will be the bit that pushes you into the 6 mark category, is understanding that you could form potentially more than one hydrogen bond. Hydrogen bonds are formed between lone pairs, delta pluses and delta minuses. So the lone pair on one oxygen interacting with the H on another molecule. So the thing about ethanoic acid is that it has 2 oxygens per molecule, giving it more capacity to make more hydrogen bonds, more opportunities, whereas propan-1-ol only has the 1 OH group. You will also see this effect with water versus ammonia. So water's boiling point is 100 degrees C, whereas ammonia is a gas at room temperature. So there is definitely a difference there. Even though they both form hydrogen bonds, water is able to form a lot more because it's got basically 2 lone pairs and 2 hydrogens. Okay, so therefore it takes more energy to overcome its intermolecular forces. So if you listed all the intermolecular forces and simply said that this one's got hydrogen bonding, propanal hasn't, that would get you in the sort of 1 to 2 band. If you somehow identified, if you said that hydrogen bonding is the strongest and you talked about the MR, so that recognizing they would have similar instantaneous dipoles, that's going to get you into the 3 to 4 band. And if you talked about the ethanoic acid being able to make more hydrogen bonds than propan-1-ol, that is going to be getting it into the 5 to 6 mark. Brilliant. Let me know how you got on and whether you want any more examples of this, because I actually have loads around.